Oh, you caught me mid yawn. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. This is a big number of episode 600 of the Council of Future Conflicts. My name is
Woohoo!
Scott. I know, right? I am the proprietor of the Future Conflict channel, and today we are talking about the Thailand versus Cambodia. This is round 2 of that particular dust up, or at least this version of this dust up. And then also NATO not being worth it. Question mark maybe should have been on there, but because I think that a lot of people would argue that point. Now I have a very specific point of view, and it agrees with this that it's not worth it. But I am open to the idea that I could be wrong potentially. But that being said, guys, if the NATO, our NATO partners actually got up and did their own defense, then ultimately they wouldn't need NATO in the first place. So it's kind of like I don't see how it's a bad thing. Us pulling out of NATO.
I think it's a great time to teach them self-sufficiency.
I was thinking about this, guys. But the only kind of solid steelman argument that I could make is that America has more influence on the European powers as a part of NATO than if we were to leave NATO. Now, on the other side of that, I say, well, then A, we haven't been using that influence, and B, what's it got us, right? Which is fuck all.
Yeah. Influence that can't ever be exercised lest it be immediately screamed about is not influence. We don't influence them. In fact, if anything, they do the opposite of what we say consistently.
See, Westby, so technically we have NATO allies, and partners are the countries that are not NATO members that are just kind of like they want to join the club, but they're not in NATO. Like Ukraine, theoretically, is a NATO partner. Colombia is a NATO partner, if you can believe it.
I believe that we should rename the organization as formerly NATO or F NATO.
Right. All right. Gentlemen, how you doing today? How's everybody doing this fine morning? Joe, you said it's getting a little chilly. But it doesn't sound bone chilling.
Yesterday it was unseasonably warm in town, but not here at camp. Out here at camp, it was the normal temperature of the 30s. But it does look like we're going to lose the rest of our snow today, just in time to get a whole bunch more over the weekend, which is just going to make this weekend's winter survival class that much more realistic. I've also got the Boy Scouts coming out this weekend, so we got a lot of fun things going on this weekend. And listen, just because there are Boy Scouts here does not mean there will not be whiskey. It just won't be with the Boy Scouts. Yes. So it's going to be a good weekend. There's a lot going on. Tonight we have a charity dinner with the Chamber of Commerce for their Christmas party, where we're going to get out, and Alan's going to make me look good. We're going to hang out together and have a good time spreading holiday cheer and trying to raise funds for a good cause. So neat time.
So no Joe dressing up in the Santa costume. Ho ho ho! Tactical wisdom.
Negative. I know who's going to be Santa, and he actually fits the bill quite well.
I get the feeling that in our circles we are always going to have guys with big white beards around us.
Right, the most Santa-like dude is anti-pattern. He is tactical Santa, and he's going to play Santa on anything I do.
So that surprises me. I thought maybe Santa rode a little side by side around up there.
That's probably true. And nights like tonight are why I bought that new fancy pistol. Be prepared, so I can wear my fancy pistol when I go to a fancy event. I actually told a guy over the weekend at the gun show, Scott, you'll find this funny. He bought a revolver, like a Smith & Wesson, whatever revolver. And he bought it in blued steel. So it's black, right? And this other guy had one just like it, only silver. And the guy's like, no, you need this one too. And the guy's like, but I already have one. And I said, but listen, that blued steel one is your everyday pistol. If you go to a fancy event, you need a fancy stainless steel pistol. And then they bought the second pistol just for that.
With the mother of pearl handles, or some other, some fancy handle. I'm just saying, if you're a revolver guy.
This is Montana. There is an inordinate number of pearl-handled Colt 45s out here. I'm just saying.
Joe, you could say, okay, now that you have 2 revolvers, now you have half the number of rounds that I have in my single automatic.
Right. And I said, now you can actually live out that scene in Tombstone where the guy says, "You're so drunk, you're probably seeing double." And Doc Holliday says, "That's why I've got 2 guns, one for each of you." Oh, man. Good times. Yes.
I'm really looking forward to the meetup next year. It's just, the closer we get, I feel like now I just need to get my program going here so that I can be there.
Well, you know what? I'm going to download so we can show it on here on the show when we get to the promotion segment, the flyer for the event.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Let me pull it up. So carry on.
Hey, by the way, I meant to ask you about this. So what did you spread the word about the event at the gun show?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Repeatedly and often. So, yes, we shared it quite a bit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume people are pretty excited about it. I mean, it seems like everywhere you go, people are asking about it.
Yeah, you know what? They have been, and that's a good thing. Let's see. That one's a rectangle. Do we have a square?
Well, and as long as we're talking about it, pre-show, I was told something very exciting about this event that all of you need to sign up for immediately, which is, do you know how to process a chicken?
Yeah.
Would you like to process a chicken hand-raised by Watcher? And then
would you like to know more?
I'm assuming we're all going to cook them after that. So
there will probably be that. That is what we're doing with the sausage making class. We will be cooking those sausage later.
There you go. Yeah, we do have a gorgeous commercial kitchen up there. Plus, I bet if we worked carefully, we could probably rig up some open fire rotisserie rigs.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Washer, I just put that thing in the CFC chat.
Perfect. Let me grab that. Oh, Janine Rogers, don't worry. You'll make it. Besides, remember, you want to make sure that you actually know how to and can do that now, because you don't want to get to the point at which you absolutely 100% have to and then have a bunch of squeam about it, because that would be bad.
Yeah, it's always better. This is like one of those kind of skills. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
You need to be blooded.
Yeah.
With the chicken.
I won't make it through the zombie apocalypse. I'm here to tell you, Gene Rogers, most of us won't make it through the zombie apocalypse. Hell,
counterpoint, most of us will, just moaning.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, most people won't make it through an apocalypse without zombies, much less with them.
Right. And listen, if you all come to this event and then the poxy clips happens while we're there, we're all together and we'll be fine.
I know, right? I mean, literally, you have the like pre-made community, right?
We even have a jail cell to put Alpha Charlie Concepts in when he gets out of hand.
That's true. All right. Mountain Readiness, West Montana. It's got very, very Western vibe, you got going on here. I like it.
I do have to say my favorite of all the fake ways to say apocalypse has got to be apocalypse. But yeah.
It's good stuff. It's going to be
Low-Key LARP gifted 5 subs to Future Conflict over there on thank you very much, brother.
Well done. Listen, hey, Alpha Charlie, you need to understand something. I've been to your private survival retreat. You need to come to mine. Fairness, bro. Fairness. I'm just saying.
This is true. Forge of Freedom TV's got a great point here. Some people in my AOR barely survive the water being out for a day.
I know, isn't that troubling? There are some people who literally cannot survive and will not. And the more attached people become to their surveillance devices, the harder it's going to be for them to survive. You ever been around a 15 to 21-year-old right now when they can't touch their phone? It's unpleasant. They can't carry on.
Joe, speaking of like 16 and unders on phones, have you heard Australia is banning all social media or not all social media, but most popular social media for anyone under the age of 16, like 16 and below? I mean, on one hand, it's probably not a bad thing for kids to not be using social media. On the other side, it's shockingly totalitarian.
You bring this to me literally on the day after it just broke that there is a Tinder service for kids and that it's mostly predators using it.
Well, yeah, right. Well, yeah,
I'm a little bit.
No, I'm with you. I like I said, I'm happy, but I'm also like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing, but like all totalitarian measures, it began as a good thing and then became something else. I think all it will actually do is drive up usage because then they'll
probably exactly correct. I mean, if we want to look,
it'll send these kids and all it takes is one smart kid to tell the 9 other dummies to how to get around the blocks, and all right, here's how you load a VPN. Here's a free VPN that you don't have to pay for.
Listen, man, the one that always gets me, the one that makes me made me realize quite a long time ago that prohibition was basically useless after it didn't work for God on Adam and Eve, was when I found out how Soviet teenagers smuggled in American rock music. Are you guys aware of this? They would steal old X-rays. They would steal old X-rays because the X-rays over there were pressed on a similar vinyl material, squish them together, heat them themselves, and press the records themselves in pirate outfits. I'm sorry, if you can't stop Soviet teenagers from smuggling in like actual physical bulky records and then cloning them and reproducing them themselves, it's not. Come on.
Right. Since we're talking about Soviets and rock and roll music, let's see if you can identify the film that this line is from. We will lay off their largest city and listen to their rock and roll.
Oh, that's a line from the Prophet.
It is a line from the Prophet.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's not a difficult one.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad, get on there, and you got to tell me who said it too. So, anyway, movie trivia with tactical wisdom. How about that?
Yeah, hey, you know what? Rowan's got a point here, and I don't know how we advise the world governments on this, but it's absolutely true. The way you get kids to stop using social media is not to ban them from it. It's for all of their parents to join those platforms and start to post all of the embarrassing dumb shit they've been posting on Facebook. It will die instantaneously.
Don't let PETA see this. What do chickens prefer? Day 2, KFC versus seeds.
Chickens, like most birds, are
protein.
Generally would prefer to be a carnivore than an omnivore. So,
well, they're not picky either. Anything that's got protein in it, that's what they're going for.
That's crazy.
And
wait till I tell you about mad cow disease.
Lee, a comment about my chair. You know darn well it's not a chair. It's just my coat on the chair. But interesting side note about yesterday, Scott. I found this pattern correct M1942 jacket at Kohl's of all places. So I convinced Mrs. Tactical Wisdom that it was a worthy investment. And by the end of the day today, it will have the USMC Eagle Globe and Anchor on the pocket. So it is an actual period correct piece.
Hell yeah.
Well, Joe, did I show you okay, so you're aware of the store New Era, right? They make sports merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So they had, I can't remember if it was a pair of pants or if it was a bag or something else, but it was the Afghan series of desert tiger stripe that they were using as the pattern for these pants or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the article of clothing or whatever was, but I was just like, so random. And it's a real camo pattern, not one of these fake ones, because they also have fake ones, and some of them are actually pretty good. But
she came home the other day, and I was wearing some camouflage pants and just a t-shirt at the time. So it was late in the day, and she wanted to go out to dinner, but you can't go out to dinner out here because it's like an hour to go anywhere, right? And then she got frustrated. She goes, "Look at you." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "You dress like you live in the woods." She goes, "Don't you miss civilization?" I said, "Not one bit. Not even
not even a little bit.
Not even a tinge of it."
You should turn on that bongo 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 song for her next time. Civilization, I'll stay right here.
All right, let's get the show going, gentlemen. Episode 600. It's a big milestone. It's
well, Scott, I feel that it is very unfair to viewers who might have their eyes plastered to the screen not to offer a warning about what they're about to.
Yeah, if you are a fan of your eyeballs, watch out for the retina burning depravity that you're getting ready to see. Well, so let me just preface it this way, right? Before you pull it up. Now, me and Joe and Watcher had kind of, debated and discussed and maybe disagreed a little bit, but not really. I mean, because I think we were all kind of generally in line that the bomber, the DC bomber, who was apprehended, right? We were doubtful whether or not this was the guy, right? Oh, just too pat. Like, Urkel couldn't do this. He would tell everybody.
Can I say something?
Oh, yeah.
You threw us all off because you said the B-2 bomber, and we're all like, the what?
Yeah, J6 bomber.
J6 bomber, yeah.
Is that the new Chinese one?
I was like, where is he going with this B-2 bomber?
Yeah, you derailed me.
But then we saw this,
and now we're inclined to think that maybe this is the guy.
Maybe it's true. Maybe it is entirely true.
I don't know what was more disturbing, when I saw this or when Joe correctly identified this as a brony. I was really shocked that he knew that term. So, just saying.
Well, the fact that it becomes a brony solves my one problem with it being him. The problem that I had was that how could a dude who's like this, an Antifa guy, whatever, not tell someone else that he did the bombing? But finding out he's a brony, I realized he doesn't talk to any real people. So
that's exactly. I will be either that or there's things way more shameful in his closet than the fact that he's a terrorist.
I am Jack's lack of surprise.
Yeah. All right. I just thought this was really funny, guys. But
let me just tell you, though, the biggest problem with this entire case that I have, that everyone needs to have and needs to be screaming about, is there was no new evidence in this.
Yeah.
They gathered all this evidence in him prior to 2024, but you might say, well, that was Biden sitting on it. But then we sat on it for an entire year. So,
and it was the same agents that were there under Biden. Like, why were they not shuffled the minute we got in? And apparently, from what I hear, is that there was big pushback in the agency from changing literally anything, changing anybody off of any case anywhere. There'd be massive pushback and a bunch of people threatening to walk and all that kind of stuff. And it essentially was that gate analysis thing that gave Bongino the ammo to say, nope, sorry, fuck you guys. We have stories coming out about this and it makes us look awful. We're going to change the people on the case. We're going to see what we come up with.
This New York Post story, DC pipe bomb suspect Brian Cole Jr. has secret online life obsessing over My Little Pony. Oh my God, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can absolutely believe it. The man accused of what's that?
I think this is his OC.
It is. It says right here. It says one of the My Little Pony fan pictures allegedly produced by Brian Cole Jr.
I'm upset that he maligned Ashoka from Star Wars with this photo.
I'm way more surprised that you know who Ahsoka is.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to
than I am that he's a Brody.
Joe's calling on
y'all troubling, man.
Nope.
You should
All
be
right.
troubled
Well,
if
you
I didn't
gotta
know who
remember-
Rich Coco was.
You got to remember, Joe, you were still a fairly young man when the prequel trilogy came out. So I mean, I get it. I totally get where you're coming from. Let's see, and let's be honest, the Clone War cartoon, the first couple seasons, was pretty badass. I mean,
Pretty legit, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just make sure you're not misinterpreting this. I think both Scott and I's surprise is more us quietly under the table going, one of us, one of us.
I'll be honest with you.
However, it all ends when I tell you that I am a purist about Star Trek. It's the original series or nothing.
So. No, I'm kind of with you there.
I can take Star Trek or leave it, so I don't argue with anybody on that one. Though I did watch. I started watching more the Next Generation as a kid. So, all right, his works are spread across various social media accounts, linked to Cole's email address and phone number. Posting as I Delta Velocity, Cole apparently uploaded 87 pictures of My Little Pony fan art to one forum showing various pony and unicorn characters. One is depicted with a bionic leg brace, and he appears to favor pink or purple ponies with long multicolored manes. In one post, a Star Wars inspired pony says in the speech pro, "I'm not cute, I'm deadly," which Cole says is a line from the video game Star Wars Old Republic. Of course he was on Tumblr. Yes, I absolutely believe that this guy spent all his time on Tumblr and was also the bomber here.
You know, I've seen some pretty convincing pattern analysis breakdowns that basically show that most of where the psychopathy came from in the internet was Tumblr. And it was shutting down Tumblr ultimately that caused them to flood everywhere else.
Well, the interesting thing is 10, 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, everybody's worried about 4chan, right? But the real kind of degeneracy was going on, on Tumblr back then.
Yup, and it was normalized.
Pinochet,
I mean, there was
wrong, but that's just one of my weak points of Star Wars. So,
but Joe, it's totally a look what they've done to my boy kind of situation with Star Wars. It's like they've completely destroyed it.
Well, okay, so as long as we're here, you all heard the news, right? The rumors are floating that they're going to retcon the sequel series that they just made and then try and restart over. And I'm sorry, I just want to say this out loud. Too fucking late.
Well, here's my thing, right? And like, so I had a through Comicsgate, I've got a lot of friends who are big Star Wars fans and things like that. And most of them tend to have gone the way I went. But there are several that are still like, hey, you gotta, when they do something right, you gotta, treat them well. And, it's that kind of thing, right? I was like, well, I disagree, but he was like, well, Andor is legit. He's like, you remember how good Rogue One was? Well, this is all the goodness of Rogue One, but in like the TV series format, right? Like it's gritty. It doesn't deal with all the bullshit. I was like, well, here's my thing, right? The same people are in charge of Disney Star Wars right now, making Andor that made all the other trash that came before it, right? Right. Yep. Okay. So why would I will do nothing to support any of those motherfuckers. My last obsession with Star Wars was the kind of the ultimate collector's edition, like Lego kits. And I won't even when cool ones come out now, I won't even buy them.
Midichlorians was the line for me. That was just
same.
Anyway, let me just say this though. The one space related series that was good both in the original and in the remake was Battlestar Galactica, and you cannot dispute that. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely like the updated Battlestar Galactica. The other thing too, Joe, though, have you watched the old school Battlestar going back now? Like because I have a hard time. I have to appreciate it in my memory, not in actually watching.
That's true. That's true. But what I really liked about the new Battlestar Galactica is they made it relatable to us because everything in their command center was stuff you find on an aircraft carrier, right? Even right down to the phones. right?
Yeah.
They were the same kind. And their spacecraft, even though they were spacecraft, they took rounds. They took rounds of ammunition, right? And they had a problem with their ammo. And that's like stuff that we as former military members can all relate to, right?
Yeah,
Oh, we got some
totally.
bad supply and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good.
What was I?
Anyway, let's move back onto our show instead of the nerdiness that we've gone off on.
Former high school classmates told the Washington Post that Pohl carried a My Little Pony backpack and had been teased for it.
Oh, I guess that makes it okay then.
I mean, that's what happens. They just get upset and they just want to blow it all up.
So here's the thing. They actually paint this guy as some weirdo, antisocial dude who lived in his basement and didn't function. Yet he had done enough pre-surveillance to know how to avoid every single camera and make sure that not a good usable image was used of him anywhere. Those two things do not square themselves.
This dude's connected somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Truth is, this guy was asked to go and buy some stuff so that they would have evidence against someone at some later point, and somebody else planted those bombs. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it went.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Proof he probably did do it. He had a chihuahua. A chihuahua will drive you to this kind of craziness.
Joe, I'm sorry. I was distracted by something that came up during the Battlestar Galactica talk.
That is a Looney Tunes bomb.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's got a fucking rotary dial on it. No, it's a kitchen timer.
It is.
No, you know what this is? Several EOD people pointed this out on Twitter. That's a stock item that for EOD training. They are available only to certain people to buy, and it comes just exactly like that for training people on how to defuse a bomb.
Somebody taught somebody how to make this, or they pulled it out of requisition.
That came out of a supply shelf somewhere. Yes.
Yeah, it's
there are so much better options than the rotary timer now that anyone who uses one is automatically suspect.
I absolutely agree with you, Joe. I mean, this is just, it stinks to high heaven. That doesn't mean he didn't do it, but
Well, I think that this falls into the Whitmer Fed plot category, right?
Yeah.
This guy probably had some ideas, probably went along with something someone suggested to him, but it wasn't his idea.
I'm sorry. I just saw Pinochet's talk about Mike Zero in the chat. The guy who has literally been wrong about everything with Disney Star Wars. Joe, can I just say can I show you the single most cringy piece of science fiction that I've ever seen? There may be more cringy stuff out there. I just thought of it because we were talking about Battlestar Galactica, and I took all of 15 seconds on YouTube to find it, and now I want to share it with you because it's one of those kind of things. I saw it, so now you guys have to see it. And chat, sorry, you're in that fucking category too. All right, here it goes. You were warned. Now, Joe, you will know this show.
Oh God!
Hey, this is a great show.
This is classic. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying this is not a bad show. I'm saying this scene is the single most cringe moment in sci-fi history that I can think of. Yeah, the other girl.
Yeah.
Anyway,
by the way, the one thing that got right is their United Nations emblem that they had was rainbow colored. So even back then, they knew that the United Nations was gay.
Was gay.
Anyway, we're supposed to be trying to do a show. And
Melanie Mac would say, "Faggot." I'm sorry.
Did you get both of Pinochet's $2 Rumble?
I did not. I haven't done it yet. All right, so let's get back on track. Pinochet helicopter for $2. I've always assumed Joe was in the Valhalla class of warriors who didn't have time for all that pop culture nonsense.
So I am, but this was pre that.
Yeah, you can't be you raw dogging life all the time. You have to start somewhere, right?
This was all pre-warrior type. So
Peter Shays Helicopters for $2 says Mike Zero will be correct about Disney Star Wars someday. And yes, Ronald D. Moore Battlestar was good. Yeah, it totally was. Peter Shea again for $2. What were his plans for J6? Why did the bombs plant with 1 hour timer is 15 hours early? Here's my thought is that whoever planted the bombs thought that could disrupt the whole fucking thing by setting these bombs off. Unfortunately, they're incompetent. That's the only thing that makes any sense if you with the given facts.
Or
right?
it really was a training operation that this guy volunteered to be a part of and conveniently timed. But I have to address something going on in Rumble chat. You will not malign Twiggy. Twiggy is like one of the best characters that ever existed. Don't compare him to Tattoo. Tattoo was a sideshow. Twiggy was the main character.
The plane, boss, the plane. If you don't get that reference, then I'm sorry. You weren't a child in the early 80s.
You didn't have a good life. Your parents denied everything. There you go. Be prepared. Got it. Colonel Deering. Colonel Wilma Deering. That was her name. That's correct.
You know, you gotta admit, Fantasy Island had not only Twiggy, but it had in Tattoo. Right, but you also had Khan on Fantasy Island, so Ricardo Montalban was Khan, so it's kind of like once I saw Khan, Star Trek 2, I could never see Fantasy Island the same again.
Well, let me ruin this for you. They really need to update that because it turns out if you look at when Khan was born, he's Gen Z.
Yeah. So I remember.
There needs to be a lot more skibbities, and
unfortunately there are no Gen Z genetic super soldiers yet. So Lost Core 23 for $10 says my hot take. I don't think there was anything at the DNC RNC on January 6th. So you don't think the bombs were actually planted there? You think?
I've seen the video, so there were backpacks there for sure. I don't know that the bombs were necessarily in them. So
yeah, there's something weird about the whole thing, but whatever. I mean, it's kind of like it's impossible to know.
I'm sure that the dude just walked out and was like, "Oh, there's a Capitol Police vehicle sitting right here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plant the bomb anyway." And then move on.
Well,
right?
What'll be interesting is to see what his defense is, right? Like, if he makes a deal, like, what does that deal look like? Are we able to get like his testimony to see what, his affidavits and things like that?
But here's the thing: this is going to be like a lot of these other cases. They told you about the arrest. You're going to hear nothing at all about the prosecution, and it's just going to quietly go away. And everyone's only going to remember that this guy was arrested. Therefore, it couldn't possibly have been a government conspiracy because they arrested somebody.
Yeah.
Or he dies in pretrial confinement. That's never happened before, Jeffrey Epstein.
I mean,
if ever there was a kid that you could say definitely killed himself in jail, it's this kid, right?
Right. That's exactly right. All right, gentlemen, let's move on to our next story, shall we? I heard the DoD is designing a cruise missile capable of scuffing a pair of Jordans.
Oh, boy.
Well, speaking of cruise missiles, Israel launches new wave of huge airstrikes on Lebanon. Israel's military confirmed it carried out new waves of air attacks in southern Lebanon that damaged several homes and buildings, which the IDF said primarily targeted Hezbollah training camps. The large-scale attacks occurred despite what's supposed to be an agreed-upon truce in effect going all the way back to November 2024. Prior to that, Hezbollah had been engaged in daily exchanges of rocket and drone fire in a war which kicked off in tandem with the Gaza war. Joe, I mean, despite the ceasefire, if if Hezbollah is starting to reconstitute, reoccupy, and go back to the same old playbook, I think Israel's going to continue to swack them.
Well, I think that as one war, this is what always happens in Israel. As one war winds down, the other one kicks off. When they're fighting Hezbollah in the north, they're not fighting Hamas in the south. When they're fighting Hamas in the south, they're not fighting Hezbollah in the north. It's an existential thing for them. When everyone around you has vowed to destroy you, you're always at war. On the other hand, if you frame it as everyone around you is vowed to destroy you, you justify always being at war. So two things can be true.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. It's just one of those kind of things that Israel just can't let Hezbollah come back, right? That's one of the problems with all these previous agreements is basically promises were made and Hezbollah and Hamas just reconstituted and came back for round 17 every time. That's exactly what happened. And so I think this time with Hamas, you're definitely seeing them scouring the earth in Hamas land, i.e. Gaza. And then in southern Lebanon, they pretty much cleared Hezbollah out. And I think that was a heavily intel-driven operation. They knew exactly where Hezbollah was, and they basically blew up every hole that they were hiding in. And you even saw Hezbollah forces completely withdrawing from what's the name of that river again? The
Litani.
Yeah, the Litani River.
They had bad experiences along the Litani the last time, so
right. So essentially abandoning everything south of the Litani, late last year or early this year. So I just think that Israel's watching, and they basically decided, not again. You're not reconstituting yourself south of the Litani again. Let's see. Let me just kind of see if there's anything else in here. The targets that were struck and the military training conducted in preparation for attacks against the state of Israel constitute violations of the understandings between Israel and Lebanon and the threat to the state of Israel. Significantly, the aerial assault reached some 20 to 30 kilometers north of Israel's border. That put what's that? Is that 17 miles or so? Is the Litani? The
From
southern
where?
Lebanon's like. I'm just trying to remember how the size of southern Lebanon, like how far between the Israeli border and the Litani.
Litani is somewhere in the 25-mile range from the Israeli border.
Yeah. So all of this would have been like south of the Litani is where they're talking about. Finance minister, Israeli finance minister said that those operations are likely to continue. And that the fact that the finance minister is talking about ongoing operations is kind of ironic. That Israel will not stop until terror infrastructure is destroyed and dismantled. Israeli citizens of far northern settlements and communities have only recently been able to safely resettle their homes. We are enforcing in Lebanon without compromise against any Hezbollah rearmament and violation of the ceasefire. So they're clearly citing violations of the ceasefire agreement, which probably built in areas that Hezbollah couldn't take action or.
I honestly think this is direct retaliation for Hezbollah's ambush of the Irish defense forces the other day. Because legitimately, the Irish weren't doing anything. They were literally just driving down a road trying to keep space between Hezbollah and Israel. And I'm wondering if the Israelis came across these dudes on mopeds, and the dudes on mopeds were intending to do something else, and realized they had to shoot their wad then, or not get a chance to at all. So.
That's about all I got on this story, guys. I mean, I think this is probably going to be the status quo going forward, with Israel doing periodic strikes to, let's be honest, deny that area to the enemy, but also kind of let the enemy know what they're in for. Peter says helicopter tours for $5 says all we need now is some J6 prosecutor at the DOJ to cut this Patsy a sweetheart restorative justice plea deal, or just throw the case out altogether. If a judge doesn't protect him, for all to see, that is.
Let me point something out. Stuart Rhodes went to prison and was the first guy to get back out. So they could certainly have a court case on paper, claim this person is in some federal penitentiary, and then they're not, right? Until somebody decides to follow up and actually go and ask to see that individual in prison, they can claim whatever they want. I'm sorry, but I have exactly zero faith that the justice system works as designed anymore. They can claim they prosecuted a guy, pled guilty, they convicted him and put him in prison, and he could be living back at home.
Yeah, I mean, like the way they operate with like home arrest and, you know, like all that kind of stuff with ankle monitors and things like that, essentially giving them the exact same credit for like actual hard time. It's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, listen, if you give this kid an ankle monitor, tell him he has to be under house arrest, what have you changed in his life? He already put himself voluntarily under house arrest by living in his basement and never going anywhere. You're not punishing him.
No, here's what I want to know, Joe. Why has nobody called him an incel yet?
How come what?
How about nobody's called him an incel yet? Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because, you know, like incels can only be conservatives, is what the narrative would say.
Maybe because incel would imply he had any sort of sexual tendencies. He's a brony. He probably did not.
You have a good point. Well, maybe he is involuntarily celibate, but I don't know. Probably a voluntary celibate. All right. Hey, by the way, Watcher, I don't know if you saw the link in the private chat that Joe dropped.
I did. Fourth, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, Be Prepared just nailed it. Incels are 100% white, and this guy wouldn't fit that profile, so they can't blame the incels, right?
That's true.
Anyway, back to this thing I wanted to bring up. Yeah, let's pull this thing up.
Oh, that first. Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, well, we could go ahead and do that now since
this actually goes to something that Forging Freedom TV and I were just discussing down in the chat, that there is secretly a shadow war going on between elements of the deep state and the U.S. government, right? Struggles back and forth, all of that, and that's why you see the damn Bongino hostage videos. But the FBI puts out this thing. It says a joint cybersecurity advisory on pro-Russia. We have to put pro-Russia right at the beginning. Hacktivist groups conducting opportunistic attacks against critical infrastructure, including water, agriculture, and energy sectors. They put this out yesterday. We call this framing. It's telling you, something's about to happen. Let me get ahead of it and say, look, it's the Russians, those bad guys. Then when something happens, no matter who really did it, you could say, we warned you that it was going to happen and that it was the Russians that was going to do it. So I just think it's when the federal government tells you things like this, it's important to note them and then see what happens over the next 7 to 10 days, right?
It's a good point, Joe.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
No, I think that's legit. Watcher, I mean, you're kind of our in-house techie here. What's your kind of take on these types of warnings and the actual kind of threat that's going on out there?
Boy, many layered is what I would say. I think that this kind of thing has been going on for at least the last decade. I think that every cybersecurity professional I have ever learned from or seen or been friends with has essentially been saying that our entire digital infrastructure is a almost entirely unsecured garbage mess, that it is honestly a shock it hasn't pulled itself down around its own ears already at this point, regardless of what the hackers are doing. And that pretty seriously, probably one of the only reasons that we don't get pretty serious attacks that do things like poison people's water supplies on a regular basis is because they're probably saving it to use up all at once.
Yeah.
That's my take.
I was going to say blind luck, but yours makes more sense. And I also dropped this in both of the chats. CISA is an organization set up to frame others for U.S. government action, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, probably 90% of its mission statement. Yeah,
I'm looking at the cybersecurity advisory that they released. This is the link in that. It's a PDF. It's 18 pages. I mean, nothing that nothing surprises me in there for sure.
You know what surprises me? I'll put this out. This does a little bit surprise me. A Russian hacker group is what surprises me, because I don't really see what a Russian group has to. I'm not saying that we're 100% on Russia's side, because we're definitely not, but we're definitely the ones who are trying to bring Ukraine to the table, right? You'd think that a pro-Russian group would go after the EU, who just told Ukraine extend the war forever, right? That's the one part of this that doesn't make sense to me. But apart from that,
well, you got to remember the NAFO bros think that Ukraine can actually be totally victorious, win back all their land, through force of arms, and then maybe even take, Russian territory as well. So,
Scott, you can stop selling me. I already know the NAFO bros are insane.
They are insane. That's true. All right. Oh man, guys, I'm tapering really hard. I don't know why.
That's all right, but yeah.
All right, so
let's this in the chat. Yeah.
What's that?
Just let people read this on their own. You think?
Yeah. I would, if you could just drop that link in the chat, I think that'll be good. And then we can kind of get on to this next one, which is, this is good, but it's kind of like duh, so here's the thing. I shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. These are things that we think should have been done years ago. And I have a hard time. The only thing that I would potentially say is that this should have happened sooner, within the administration of the current governor of Florida, in the case of this one, or Antifa as a terrorist group, at the federal government. So this is a post by Amy Mack, who's been doing a lot of great reporting on, specifically out of Texas, but all around the U.S., talking about the colonization efforts of Muslim colonists coming here to this country. CARE melts down, but Texas and Florida are finally taking action. Let's see. CARE's meltdown press conference after Governor DeSantis' designation wasn't a show of strength. It was a public admission of just how massive and deeply embedded their political machine has become in the American institutions. Behind the podium stood CARE Florida's furious, determined director, Hiba Rahim, rattled and defensive and clinging to the same old talking points: victimhood, Islamophobia, and the recycled civil rights shield. But in her rambling attempt to play the victim, she accidentally reminded America the truth. CARE isn't small. CARE isn't local. CARE isn't harmless. CARE is a national Muslim Brotherhood-tied political powerhouse with institutional tentacles everywhere. Let's see, for instance, did you know that they proudly admit to 25 national offices, over 500 staff and board members, more than 70 attorneys, a national media arm, a political pipeline grooming future candidates, a long-term plan to manufacture 100,000 lawyers, journalists, and activists and office holders by 2050. It's not a civil rights group. This is a nationwide influence machine modeled after the Muslim Brotherhood's global political infrastructure. Today's press conference made something else very clear. They're terrified because Texas and Florida finally hit them where it hurts. Texas designated CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorist organizations. Florida just followed. The multiple state attorneys are saying exactly what CARE fears most. We are ready for discovery, especially your finances. So yeah, I think this is a great development, guys. It's easy to criticize it, saying too little, too late, but it's kind of like beggars can't be choosers. But what's your guys' take?
I find it hilarious that they almost immediately settled the case because they don't want discovery either. And I think that CARE, for all of their complaints, they said that Ron DeSantis is owned by AIPAC. That may be true or not true, but CARE literally owns stock, lock, and barrel Rashida Tlaib. There is no other reason for her to be in power other than CARE. And she's not the only one, but that's just the biggest example that I'll put out there. And the only reason why Rashida Tlaib stays in office. And I'm pretty sure I'm probably the only voter here who has voted in Rashida Tlaib's district. And they do so through, and I'm not making this up, physical intimidation of Arab voters and Muslim voters. They actually have groups of men standing outside the polling locations asking people who they're going to vote for before they go in. Now, they didn't stop and ask me because I look like I might grab you by the throat and ask you why you want to know. But they did stop Arabs and ask them who they were voting for before they went in, just to kind of remind them that CARE is out there and that they care. So,
yeah, no, you're right. You're right on the money. Watch or anything else on this?
Why is every state attorney general in the nation not following suit? That's mostly what I want to know. Apart from that, no, we're good.
Hey, let's Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
Sure. There's a great article there about what we carry and when and why. Because let's be honest, we all talk a good game online about what we carry every day. We put out our cool guy pocket dump videos and everything, but do we really carry all that stuff every day? Maybe you should. Maybe we should up our game given the environment we're in and do that. So check out that article and then maybe adjust your thinking and what you have going on and get a little bit better at carrying stuff every day. Other things we have going on. If you want a signed set of Tactical Wisdom books for Christmas, today is your day. I can't guarantee delivery after that. You can still get them from Amazon, but they won't be signed. But Tactical Wisdom books make a great gift. If you want to buy the whole set and you don't want to click pay with PayPal 5 times, just DM me and I'll send you an invoice so you can just pay it that way. But if you want to get these books, now is your moment. The other thing is we have classes going on this month and next month. Click over to the courses one. We've got this weekend, we have Winter Survival, which is going to be a pretty good class. And then January 9th to the 11th, Winter Fieldcraft. We're going to talk about how to do camouflage, concealment, and movement in the winter. Then we will go back into Combatives Weekend, another self-defense course where you learn unarmed defense, ground fighting, stick fighting, knife fighting, and cold firearms combatives all in a weekend. And we're setting up a whole new combatives room in the over in the lodge building just for that purpose. Then in February, we have Winter Survival, and I'm not really allowed to say it yet, but then we'll be back in North Carolina for Fieldcraft, Scout, Recce, and Community Security Ops, all in North Carolina late February. So
that's
a lot going on. Check it all out.
Yeah, absolutely do that. Check out the website, check out his locals, check out the books. Joe, I've been seeing a lot of people posting book orders online. It's a good time of year for the book sales, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a little bit better than before, but listen, I could use more book sales. So
a lot of stuff at the gun show that we're calling out to you. So
there was the gun show was really, really tough. I wanted to be able to buy that HK, but for $4,000, but I didn't have the $4,000 because nobody would buy books. Yeah. Be prepared. Yes, Matt and I had that discussion while we were out there. Matt said we really need to run one in the spring, so watch for that in February. That is entirely possible.
All right. Speaking of Matt, North Carolina, and Brushbeater, let's do our shameless profit-taking segment here. All right. Tonight we're zooming in on the simmering Cambodia-Thailand war, border clashes, ancient grudges, and proxy plays in Southeast Asia. Plus, Bombshell potential for the U.S. to pull the plug on NATO, leaving Europe exposed. From jungle skirmishes to alliance fractures, the global order's cracking. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by NC Scout, aka Matt, with Kyber optics to sharpen your view through the fog of shifting fronts. When the old borders ignite into NATO's rug gets yanked, Kyber optics from Brush Beater Store gives you a tactical edge in an unraveling world. The Kyber optics PVS 14 monocle delivers mil-spec Gen 2 Plus white phosphor night vision with premium Japanese glass and a no-bullshit lifetime warranty. See through the Cambodian undergrowth or post-NATO shadows like it's broad daylight. Hands-free with the Skull Crusher mount or for all-night vigilance. For daylight dominance and amidst diplomatic fallout, the Kyber Optics MDO packs a close emitter red dot with a shake awake 50,000 battery hour, compact and lethal for border patrols or backyard drills, and for versatile reach when alliances falter. The Kyber Optics 1x6 LPVO offers low power variable zoom with etched reticles, rugged as hell for any range from close quarters to contested frontiers. Hands-on test at the dark room in Brush Beater's Yanceyville, North Carolina showroom, or snag them at the brushbeater.store/collection/optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all Kyber Optics night vision radios training. Orders over $100 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt at Brush Beater Store for fueling the Council on Future Conflict. Visit brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and keep your sights true when the world redraws the lines.
Scott,
Yes.
For a long time, I have listened to you do commercials, and there's been a sense that I know this format, and it's always just been like, oh, old commercials, right? But just now I realized exactly the format that it reminds me of. Exactly.
What's that?
Bob Barker on The Price is Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is exactly the delivery that I go for. You know, that kind of like that kind of up kind of beats pitch man, you know, like
well, I heard it. I heard in my head during that.
Yeah, that's right. And we should have a game show. You have to guess the price.
That's it. And I've just figured out I've just figured out exactly what we're gonna do for our commercial. I need Matt. I need videos of Matt Vanna Whiting these products.
Yeah, right.
No. You know what? you know what we need to do, Joe? If we need to set up a CFC Price is Right, sponsored by Brush Beater Store. Where we do all the games live.
I can build some of those. I am a pretty good physical props guy. If you want you a Plinko board, let me know.
We could do a spinning wheel, you know.
Well, listen, here's the only deal I'll make. I'll do any of them. I'll make them as realistic as you need. They will be miniature sized.
Chris has it right. Kevin, one of Matt's employees, Kevin is the guy to go with this. Kevin's a Air Force parajumper, great dude, pararescue jumper. Or we could, and only certain people will get this joke, we could have Marcos come in and test to the sharpness of the axes in the store. If you know.
I wasn't there, but I heard it.
That was another Kevin story. Chris gets this. I'm like, hey, Kevin, I need a first aid kit over here. And I'm trying to be calm because I know Marcos is freaking out because he's bleeding everywhere. And Kevin goes, yeah, man, does he want the 139 one or the 129 one? I'm like, Kevin, look at me. And Kevin looks, he goes, bro, you need a first aid kit. I'm like, yes, that's what I said. Oh, it was funny.
Gentlemen, I hate to bail on you guys, but I have an early morning, and I honestly I forgot all about that. And I am, even without the early morning, I was like falling asleep during the odds and ends.
Per usual, the officer's gonna dip and leave the NCOs in charge. We got you.
I mean, you know, hey, if I didn't think, you know, this is why officers have in good NCOs, because if they need to dip.
No, it's a sign of my respect for you. No, I get you, Scott. My only question, because I did see it in chat, is, did you do your snap in?
See, we don't call it that.
All right, man.
We call it
Joe,
dry. The rest of the world calls it dry firing. We just call it snapping.
For us, it's what is it? I haven't done it in so long that I forgot what it is. PMC.
Primary marksmanship.
Anyway, it's something I can't remember what the acronym is. Joe, I want to direct you to one thing that I added here. Joe, Watcher, I don't even know if you've got it, but that last let's do the last one first, and then I'll leave you guys to it.
Okay.
Pull this one up. This is we got a lot of combat footage from Thailand, Cambodia. Joe, this is the one I want to draw your attention to, because notice how the Cambodians were dressed in the first round of fighting versus how they're dressed now.
Yes.
Like, they're like, holy shit, we actually gonna have to fucking fight this shit, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna have to actually wear some clothes now.
Exactly right. That guy, what he had, like some patty shorts and flip flops and a PKM.
I still will point out that, like all Asian soldiers, he is using that rifle with zero reference to the sights whatsoever. You can tell
he's just looking over the top of it. Yeah,
he's trying to walk the rounds in, which is not an effective way to engage combat.
And look, he's got a first aid kit here. You know,
I'm going to be honest. That looks like that was provided by a non-governmental agency.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a government issued one. It looks like a Temu special.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's probably ordered off the internet. You know, it may actually be one that he purchased for himself. You know,
he's about to lose that knife, because
I was just going to say I like the knife. The
magazine pouches are for, wait for it, magazines. They're not for knives, pistols, whatever else you have. Anyway,
all right, guys, I'm going to let you go. You guys are in good hands with Joe and Watcher covering all this stuff. This is all right up their alley, so you don't need me. Thank you, guys. I will see all of you guys back here on Friday. And just to let you know, we're going to look at the calendar and figure out exactly what the show schedule will be going into the holidays. For the most part, I think we're going to do the show on the regular days, but we may do some special evening shows since I'll have time off during that period. And I know that's a little easier for the guys to make those evening shows. So if you got ideas for things you want to see us do, and any people you want us to invite on, like we could probably get, like Don and Matt and some of the guys to maybe come out for something fun, especially in an evening show. Let us know who you want to see. Not PMCS. So yeah, we'll definitely be probably doing some maybe we do movie night or something like that again. That's
not be bad.
I really enjoyed when we played poker that one time. That was kind of fun.
That was fun.
Actually, I had some people from the chat come on.
Except real Bob Johnson is not allowed to play.
Yes. No, I think
I had that entire night locked down, and I was about to win it all, and Bob Johnson came and took it from me. Should have used a gun.
All right, guys, I've got to go. Chat, you're in good hands. Thank you for showing up. Watcher, Joe, I appreciate all you guys do. I'll see you guys back on Friday. Take care.
Take care, Scott. So yeah, Scott is kind of already broke us into the Thai-Cambodia conflict that President Trump so eloquently wrapped up so quickly. Turns out wasn't settled. People weren't happy, Joe. Who could have guessed?
Ironically, those who follow my locals were aware that this conflict was going to happen a few hours before it did. There were signs that it was going to go down, and then the minute that the Cambodian tanks started moving, it was game on. And I knew that it wasn't going to be a little, 3-hour artillery duel. They were moving to actually invade. So pretty interesting here. And this is actually a U.S. versus China proxy war. That's the entire point of this. Cambodia is heavily supported by the Chinese. Thailand is heavily supported by us and the Brits. So we shall see what comes of it. Thailand has Cambodia beat in every metric as far as number of troops, tanks, planes, boats, everything, as well as training ability. So we shall see what happens.
Ooh, yep. Apparently, it's the third day it's continued, and in fact, this isn't in the article here, but I've seen notice that Thailand is evacuating 180,000 people who live near the border region. So you don't do that if you expect things to calm down within a short period of time, I would say.
Yeah.
Officials from the two Southeast Asian neighbors on Wednesday also accused each other of restarting the conflict that has killed at least 13 soldiers and civilians so far this week and led more than 500,000 people from both sides of the border to evacuate for safety. Civilians have had to evacuate in large numbers due to what we assessed as an imminent threat to their safety. Yeah, I'd say so. It's mostly been artillery duels at this point, right? I did see something that Thailand had conducted some airstrikes, but apart from that, I assume it's mostly artillery duels.
Yeah, and Cambodia can't really mount an airstrike because they don't have the capability. They have somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 jets versus over 100 for Thailand. So air superiority would be a problem for Cambodia, and it's best if their planes just stay on the ground. But Thailand has launched some strikes in trying to hit the artillery positions that are firing into Thailand.
Apparently, and rockets too. That would make sense. If Cambodia is being supplied by China, it would make sense that the majority of their artillery comes in the form of rockets.
I do want to point out the name of that hospital is epic. Phanom Dong Rak Hospital.
In Surin, nice. In neighboring Cambodia, 101,000 people have been evacuated to safety shelters. Cambodianess, a website operated by the Cambodian Media Broadcasting Corporation, reported that Thai F-16 jets had attacked 2 areas in the country, while Thai shelling continued in 3 other areas. Yeah, I wouldn't look for this to calm down soon. It looks like we do have some infantry fighting videos, though. This one appears to be a some kind of Thai version of the Striker.
The Moag Piranha is the vehicle.
Well, so they've got it here. Royal Thai Army supported by... Yeah, it's not a Striker. It's a Piranha. Infantry fighting vehicle advanced to a residential area near the border in North Cambodia as fighting escalates between the two. So I'm just going to play it because there's some good stuff here. I'm going to turn it down low, but there is, machine gun fire. So headphone users, this is your warning. That's it. That's not a real language. Come on. So it looks like this place is
a little bit of a loophole cut in the top of that house. I'd probably schwack that roof. That's
what I was just thinking about, man.
Looks like a sniper position to me.
I would not want to be stationary on this road.
We're going to fire the M2 at like 30 feet range.
You're shooting like down the alley behind that house. Maybe reposition yourselves, boys.
Man, yeah, the M2 is a fun weapon to fire. Hey, be prepared. Remember when Matt had a class that featured an M2 Browning? Let's bring that back again. Yeah, they mounted an M2 Browning in the back of the K5 Blazer we have there, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
All right. So the next video is a little bit short, but here we have some Cambodian grads.
The old BM-21. There is nothing like unguided artillery rockets to ruin your day.
What's that quote? Quantity has a quality all of its own.
There has to be a ton of launchers there, because that's a lot more rockets than just like 2 launchers.
Yeah.
Would have been out pretty quick.
I would not want to be on the other side of that.
The BM-21 is the new version of the Katyusha, or the more modern, not new. It's still like 60 years old, but the Katyusha is what it was called before that.
Here we have another Royal Thai Striker making its way up with a mechanized element towards the border. Gauging the old razor wire. Good stuff.
Those M16A2 rifles. Wonder where they got those at a discount, because we were replacing them.
You know, those look really familiar. I lugged one of those around for
Here's one of the problems. See all those cool M16A2s? Notice how many slings there are.
None.
So why do we wear a sling? You learned this in my fieldcraft class. We wear a sling because in combat, things tend to go boom a lot. And if a mortar round goes off behind you and you are hurled 35 feet from where you are standing, you would like your rifle to come with you. We keep a sling on so that our rifle stays attached to our body.
Oh, wait, hold on. They might be using single points.
He's not using anything.
This guy's got something here. It's black on black, though. It's hard to see where it connects to. Where would it even connect to there? There's no ring there for it to connect on the handguard. I don't know. That'd be even worse if he's issued and he's like literally wearing it around his neck, but it's not connected to anything because he's a tard.
It's probably a weapon hanger for hanging it when he's not carrying it, but you really should always wear a sling. Just because I like my rifle to go where I am going. And Phil Coggins, why would you attach a single point to the front of the lower? It would make it harder to shoot. That guy's got a sling. So, there it is. One of my favorite things in the world. Concertina wire.
So, yeah.
It always amazes me, though, when forces put a lot of money into designing good camouflage that works in their region, and then they put bright colors on for IFF.
Thank you.
Man, if y'all don't know what your own troops in uniforms look like, you shouldn't actually be on the field. Pretty simple.
Oh, but don't worry, Joe. It's only on their backs. See?
Yeah, right. It's silly.
Oh man. Well, that's all we got for China or for Thailand, Cambodia. We're gonna keep our eyes on that conflict as we move forward. If you guys see good video coming out of it, always feel free to tag either me or Joe. We'd love to see it. But next, Joe, did Christmas come early?
I'm sorry.
Because apparently Christmas came early and Santa slipped my present in sometime last night when I was sleeping, because Scott woke me up this morning to show note news that that we might not be in NATO much longer.
Yeah. I don't doubt it that they do call him daddy, but
Trump on NATO, they call me daddy. Among the more notable and amusing moments from President Trump's newly published interviews from Politico is when he stated that NATO officials refer to him as daddy after being proven right on the need to bolster collective defense funding through increased European budgets. This tough approach, heavily vocalized during his first term and subject to immense pushback from European leaders at the time, and still now, is now by and large being belatedly and now urgently embraced as Europe ramps up defense investments amid grinding Russian-European war. I want to stop. They knew that war was coming by at least 2024. All of them knew, right? They knew that it was happening in 2023, right? They've had 2 years, and it's only now that we're going to get serious about our defense budget. I would submit that it has nothing to do with the Ukraine war. Joe?
Right. I think that NATO has lived off of American defense spending for far too long. And when they put out the thing, it's time for us to have our own large army, I was like, yes, we've been trying to tell you that for decades. Make it happen. So,
So I'm just trying to point out the thing that changed was not the Ukraine war. They knew about that. It has been happening. They emptied their coffers. Well, not their coffers, but their old Cold War storage to Ukraine. This is something everybody knew was going on. It's something else has caused this response. President Trump's daddy remark came in the following context. Burns pressed Trump on whether he would get involved in European elections as a result of which of what he was seeing, to which the president said he was already involved in Europe, but wants to run the U.S. In the middle of the line of questioning, Trump joked, "NATO calls me daddy." He pointed out that it was his urging alone which boosted projected NATO spending from 2% to 5%, far surpassing the longtime NATO benchmark of 2% of GDP on defense. Well, and that's weasel wording it as well, because it wasn't just, hey, you need to pay more. It was, hey, you're not even actually paying 2%. You're finding weasel ways to pretend that you are.
Yes, that was the whole point, right? They were never actually at 2%. Most of them were at 0.5 to 1%, which means then that we could have technically said, okay, you didn't meet your obligations under NATO, so we're not going to help you. Or we should have, but we never did. We liked being in charge. We liked being the big brother.
Yeah. But Europe is being destroyed, he added in reference to his prior commentary on unchecked immigration, leftist censorship policies, and EU centralization, which has brought about decline in democracies. That's somewhat of an understatement as well.
And that video right there points out that Trump is right. Mark actually called him daddy. He said he was joking about the relationship, but he did literally say it. So,
oh, that's funny. And then just as you thought that Rep Massey has just gone beyond the pale and you can't deal with him anymore, he comes around and redeems himself, Joe. Representative Massey has introduced a bill to remove the United States from NATO as of today.
Nice. I think that's a great idea. We should be out.
I'm a read part. NATO is a Cold War relic. Amen. We should withdraw from NATO and use that money to defend our own nation, not socialist countries. Amen.
Right? I mean, like he says, it was created to counter the Soviet Union. We're literally propping up the new Soviet Union, which is EU.
Yeah. And the Soviet Union collapsed 30 years ago. Since then, U.S. participation has cost taxpayers trillions of dollars and continued to risk U.S. involvement in foreign wars. Our Constitution does not authorize permanent foreign entanglements, something our founding fathers explicitly warned against. America should not be the world's security blanket, especially when wealthy countries refuse to pay for their own defense. Hell to the yes. So the act would require the president to formally notify NATO of U.S. withdrawal under Article 13. It concludes that NATO's original Cold War purpose no longer aligns with U.S. national security interests. It finds that U.S. NATO members have adequate economic and military capacity to provide for their own defense. It prevents use of U.S. taxpayer funds for a NATO common budget, including its civil budget, military budget, and the security investment program. Senator Mike Lee has introduced a companion legislation, and you can read that text if you want to. But boy, Rep Massey, gosh, man, sometimes I really want to hate you, and then you just go do shit like this, and what a pair of balls on this guy.
Well, sorry. Someone being right once in a while doesn't mean they're right all of the time.
Oh, very true. Very true.
We immediately forgive them for all of their wrongs, but it's a great idea.
And why is it only he who has the balls to bring this forward, right?
Right.
Bring our troops home. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Look, there's even going to be some countries that I kind of like that are going to be sore about that. But the fact is, I kind of like them specifically because they're Poland and they actually invested in their own defense, which means they can defend themselves. And just because we're a part of NATO doesn't mean we can't, if we deem it necessary at that time and in our own interest, get involved in foreign scraps. But it just means we're not going to be held ball and chain to it, and we automatically have to because we signed treaties, 60 years ago for something that no longer matters.
Right on.
This next post is something Scott gave us, so I'm not quite sure. We're gonna watch a video, but let me read the text here first. The time has come for a European army, the strongest army in the world, by Europeans for protecting Europeans, which is NXTEU, which is let's read this real quick. Building the pan-European movement for progress. Together we can build the the next generation of politics. Okay. Well, here's what they want to show us.
1.4 million EU soldiers. Tens of thousands of tanks. Thousands of planes. A unified European command. 27 national armies gone.
We really have to step up massive the defense expenditure.
A military budget on par with the US.
We need a clear, big plan from the European Union.
US, China, and Russia. Who are they again?
For the member states and, of course, for common European domains.
A European army.
We urgently have to rearm Europe.
Interesting thought, but is this possible? 1.4 million EU soldiers.
So here's the deal. If I can only remember a time when they wanted to abolish all national armies and absorb them under one German leader, how did it work out that time?
Yeah, you're on the same track as I am. Boy, I advocate for Europe to be able to defend themselves.
Here's the thing: Europe would then need to defend itself from itself. Once Correct. You say the French army, which is probably the most capable. Either the French or the British, is very small. Once you lose the ability of that army to defend its own borders, the rest of Europe can do whatever they want and impose whatever they want upon you. I think you still need to retain national armies.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think it's kind of it would be very troublesome, to say the least, for I mean, maybe one day there is space for that to happen, for Europe to completely unite and just be under a full Europe. But under the current leadership, that would be nothing but a second Nazi regime that starts by controlling all of Europe and then expands from there. So, it does makes you wonder, man.
Well, there are two options here. As someone pointed out, the EU army would, if they actually had conscription, would end up being mostly fighting-age Muslims. Or, on the other hand, you have a whole bunch of, how do I word this without saying the N-word? You have a whole bunch of Azov battalion guys, and brigade guys, who are about to not have much else to do other than join an EU army, and you end up with a literal Nazi army across the entirety of Europe.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I view Ursula von der Leyen and her kind as basically just the opposite side of the same coin, right? They're just the leftist version of the same shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. We need to just be done with Europe. We need to just pull out. There are some individual states that I wouldn't mind continuously having relationships with and having favored member status with and all that kind of stuff, but that place is going to descend back into the same generational bloodshed and basically genocide as everywhere else the second the US is no longer around to force them not to. And my stance on this is, on your own heads be it. We have one final story. Oh, go ahead.
I want to point out that the last time all of Europe came together, well, there are 2 times when all of Europe came together to fight a security threat to Europe. The first one was this fine success here called the Kosovo KFOR. Happened to have just found my handbook while I was going through stuff for this show.
Nice.
And that didn't exactly work out because that conflict is still simmering, is still there, and the KFOR deployment is still there. The other time was Afghanistan, and how did that work out? But seriously, the point of that was this: the Germans weren't even allowed to leave their base.
Right.
They weren't allowed to engage in combat, and they couldn't even send medical assets forward. We would have to bring the medical assets to them and bring their people back. So what are you going to do, right?
If your whole army can't be in the rear with the gear, that doesn't work out.
Right.
Turns out. Speaking of which, the German army plans their largest single year investment in arms and equipment in history.
And ironically, it's still not very much money.
I was going to say, at the moment that Ukraine war grinds on, as Trump-led efforts to find peace have been frustrated, largely Zelensky and his backers have balked at agreeing to any territorial compromise as the basis of a deal. Germany is busy transforming its military with an aim to boost Bundeswehr numbers and meet NATO targets. Boy, guys, if Germany wasn't meeting the NATO targets, still, after multiple years of war and screeching that the big bad Russians are coming to get them, again.
You know what Germany needs, and all of Europe really, is for the U.S. to withdraw. I've heard when we do that, we just leave everything behind. And they can just have whatever's left. I mean, it worked out well for Afghanistan. I'm just saying.
But that would require us to actually learn any lessons.
Yeah.
So that news dominated headlines last week, but adding to this, Bloomberg is now reporting Tuesday that the troop expansion will coincide with a major tech and armament expansion, given lawmakers are expected to approve. Didn't they do this literally the year the war started? They said they were going to approve a bunch of stuff, and they approved it, and then they never actually allocated it, and then it sat, and then they pulled the money and used it for other social programs. And I'm pretty sure that happened. So 52 billion euros. This will mark the largest single year investment. Yeah, I don't really care. So what are they going to buy with all this? F-35 fighter jets. Well, for 52 billion, I think you can get what?
Oh, sorry, I was answering somebody about Rheinmetall.
Oh, you're fine. Like with $52 billion and this only being a portion of the budget, how many F-35s do you think we can get? 6, 7?
Yeah, maybe. The problem that they have is manpower too. They don't have a lot of troops, and they need to spend less on buying new arms and more on maintaining the arms that they have. They have some very good tanks that are just run down because of no maintenance. It's probably cheaper to get those fixed than buying new ones, knowing the price of new tanks.
They're also investing in JSMs. Oh boy.
JSMs are just a way for the American defense industry to make money off of everyone.
Thank you. It's not a useful strategic asset. Aladdin reconnaissance drones. I don't know what the Aladdin is. I'll have to look into that. G95 assault rifles. Okay, so I will say that they do need... They did need a new rifle.
Yeah, we just discussed what the G95 was before this show. And newsflash, it's an AR. It is an M4 platform. It's the HK416A8. Everyone's going to the AR platform.
It's just an AR that you slapped a different name on, so you didn't have to admit that you were using our rifle. Air defense systems. That's nice and vague. Armored vehicles. Why? As Joe just said, Germany doesn't need a new armored vehicle platform. It needs the vehicle platforms it already has to be functional.
But if you're an executive at Rheinmetall and you've got the ear of German legislators, you tell them, no, we need new armored vehicles because we can make a whole lot more money that way.
Yeah. And additional small arms. So I guess look for Germany to update their sidearms. Oh boy. German Defense Minister Boris recently told Germans there is no cause for concern, no reason for fear. Good Lord. Joe, how are they gonna? You know, it's my favorite part of this. Every time I look at Germans preparing their military and smelting steel to make vehicles and all these things, you know what I see? A steady outflow of money for all of the energy being used to produce that to the exact people that they're claiming they're at fear of going to war with.
Yeah. Yep. And they sit here and call us an unreliable ally. Yet all of the materials they want to buy come from us. So you're still relying on us, just in a different way and probably in a more important way. I would bet they would probably go with an HK pistol more than a SIG.
Probably. But he says, think they'll go with the SIG P320. Well, kind of. I will say that the Bundeswehr is basically the SIG P320 of national defense administrations. Famous for shooting itself directly in the foot. And with that, we will adjourn for the day, gentlemen. Thank you all so much for showing up today. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do a small ad segment on the way out. Guys, we're launching a thing for our farm store. Many of you have asked how you can support me. That is a way you can support me. We're going to have all kinds of stuff that your mom and or girlfriend and or wife will very much enjoy. It's all being informed by my hyper-based wife. So candles and vanilla extracts and chai spices and all kinds of good stuff. You guys will like it. All right. So stay tuned. We'll get that for you. Joe, anything for the people on our way out?
I'm sorry. Anything what?
Anything for these folks on our way out?
Now, I would just point out that the German service pistol is the HK USP, and I don't see that changing. But I would watch for, in the next 24 hours, the U.S. to conduct kinetic strikes on
yes.
Venezuela.
We should let you guys all know that we were all three of us were up into the wee hours watching for that to happen last night on some information we have received. I'm kind of on watch all day today. Don't be surprised if it happens tomorrow that you see a special event, special edition of Future Conflict. So, all right, Joe.
Yep.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you, man. Thank all you for being here. And as Scott would tell you, stay safe.